My name is Carol Fraser. I'm from Alberta, near the Edmonton area. My family are Cree, Scottish, English, and French. I'm Michif by the government's terminology, but really I'm a Cree woman. And I've been taught by other elders that before we ever take any plants or medicines from the earth, that we have to make an offering to the earth. And we start in the east, because that's where the sun comes up and sets in the west. We start in the east, which is over here, and we just take a little pinch of tobacco, the purest kind of tobacco that you can find. Place a little bit in the dirt and push it in and thank Mother Earth for her bounty and for allowing us to pick what we need for our medicines today. And then we'll go around this way. So the idea is to, what you take, you give back. It's like the cycle of knowledge and everything else. And then there. Now, I'll just say a little prayer. Hi. So we just thank Mother Earth for sharing her bounty with us.
Well, this is my wild medicine garden right here. So we have plantain and wild lettuce that we're going to be harvesting today. And on the other side, we have lamb's ear that's flowering, but we also have young lamb's ear too that we can harvest. So when you're picking plants from the earth, there's the rule where you don't take more than half of the plant. Even less than half is really sufficient. Leave some of the strongest plants so they can flourish for nature, produce seeds, feed other animals. You want to keep those ones in there. Make sure when you're picking your plants, make sure that it is not near anywhere that's sprayed. You want things that grow wild and naturally, not near a roadside or anything like that, because you want nice, pure plants. This top layer we have in the basket, this is comfrey, and what we want to harvest right now when the flowers come in is the leaves.
So there's different ways that you can dry or prepare these plants for medicines, right? This is one way that you're learning today.
If you dry it a little bit before you use it, you can use it wet. You can chop it up and put it through a salad spinner and dry it off with a towel. You can do it that way, but there is the chance that it might not keep as long due to the moisture. So drying really helps, but I also think there's a lot of chlorophyll in it right now. So I like to make mine fresh. Well, you don't want as much moisture in your salve because moisture could cause bacteria. So the more you dry it, I think the safer you are. The longevity your product will have. I think we're going to make it a lot of salve because we harvested a lot of leaves today. These are only the comfrey leaves. And we still have these giant plantains. You're in the wild and you get bit, stung, injured, or anything like that. You look around you, there's always 3 medicinal plants around you. If you know what they are, cool. If not, take 3 of them, choose 1 of them, do all 3, you might have a chance. Essentially, soak this in oil or put it in some boiling water or some tea water, and you could wrap it around
like
an injury. It wouldn't look like this because it would have been boiled. And a burn or anything like that, you wake up in the morning and you are healed more than definitely any alternatives.
Woolly lamb's ear.
Yeah, they're so cute, hey?
They were used for so many things.
So many things.
This was used for a woman during her moon time. They were used for diapers in the pouches for the babies because the 80%, they absorb 80% of the liquid. What else would they have been used for?
They're used as Band-Aids. They're a natural antiseptic Band-Aid.
Exactly,
it's
the medicine in them.
Healing.
People just call it weeds.
Yeah. But weeds in the dictionary is an unwanted plant.
Yeah, that's sad.
So it's not a weed to me. But one of the ways to know that plantain is plantain is you can see there's a broadleaf, there's also longleaf plantain, but you can see they also have the veins that go straight up and out in them. And one surefire way to tell is if you break open a leaf and you find these little strings in them. That is definitely a plantain. And this, if you're out in the woods and you get bit by a bug, you get a scratch, you have anything on your skin, you get, you know, some bristles are poked, all you have to do, some people chew on it to get like all the oils out of it, but you can rub it like this and get it nice worked in.
And it releases.
And then say if you have a bite, you just compress it on. And you hold it there. We're gonna chop up the leaves after they're all dry, and then we're gonna put them in a big mason jar with a lid and fill them up with oil. And some people like to let that oil sit for 6 weeks and shake it in the morning and shake in the evening. But I figured fast track way to double broil it in my slow cooker.
Mom, look at me.
For 24 hours.
Mom, look at me.
You can chop it,
Mess on my hand.
or you can bruise it. If you don't have a knife, you can
Just tear it out.
just bruise the leaves. Your nails in there. You want to like rub it around, and when you're cutting and you're breaking apart the plant is producing a certain chemical to heal itself, and this is part of the medicine. So I'm gonna push this down. And we're gonna find some heavy stones to put on top of it so it doesn't come up when we pour the oil in. So you just want the oil to make sure that it's over top of the leaves, and that is why I put my pestle in there for my mortar and pestle, just to kind of weigh the leaves down because they tend to float up. And as long as they're not sticking out, they're not gonna brown. So you want to keep those leaves nice and fresh so the air doesn't get to them. So normally the recipe calls that you put this in your windowsill. You put a jar in your windowsill for up to 6 weeks and shake it twice daily. And I just don't have that kind of time. So I figured out that putting it in my slow cooker, double boiling it in my slow cooker, and then giving it a stir twice a day or 3 times a day whenever I remember is good. So we left it for 48 hours, and now we have this beautiful green color. So there's our medicine that is soaked into the oil. And now we're ready to melt some wax and mix the wax in, but first we're gonna strain this out. Yeah, so I just have like, it's kind of like a cheesecloth or a seed milk bag or a nut milk bag. Just nicely washed hands. I'm gonna squeeze all the oil out of this. Wow, look at how dark that is. Okay.
Was your other batch not so dark?
It wasn't this dark, no. But the last time I only put it in for 24 hours. This was like longer than 48 hours. What we're gonna try and do is we're gonna try to mix 1 part oil, 1 part beeswax and melt it in that way. And then we have the beeswax melting on its own, and then we're gonna mix the oil. So we're gonna try 2 different ways and we'll let you know what's better. With the wax is that it doesn't burn on the bottom. So you just kind of want to slow heat it. So let's just turn this down maybe to medium heat and just let this melt nice and slowly. So this one's not quite melted. We'll take it out. There we go. Ooh, that's hot. Ow. No, we'll add it, you can add it into it right now as it's all mixing together.
That'll take that pungent scent out of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's my 10 drops.
Putting these in these little chapstick containers to make it easier to apply onto your skin. But don't use it on your lips, don't get it in your mouth, because comfrey is not edible. So I've also added some frankincense oil to these bottles as well. And as you can see, this last one, the beeswax, is pretty much done. So we will take it out and mix the oil. Yep. Oh, look at that. It's congealing already. There we go. So, you know what? Maybe we can just put this one back on the stove and just melt it together a little bit better.
We're just experimenting. A lot of this is experimentation, right?
So, while these are still warm, they say to cool it down before you put it in the containers, but I found it just started to harden before I did that.
So this is wax and oil.
This is wax and oil.
And essential oils, right?
It will actually start to harden pretty quick, as you can already see the air hits it, that it's starting to congeal.
And it can be used right away too, right? Like,
As soon as it cools down, yeah, so it doesn't burn your skin. So what I'm gonna do with all this leftover layers and layers of wax, I'm gonna scrape it off, and I'm gonna remelt it all together. And so what we've done to come to this conclusion is we've taken 1 part leaves, 1 part oil, 1 part beeswax. So if you have half a cup of leaves, put half a cup of oil and half a cup of beeswax. Sorry, comfrey is not edible. Do not put in your mouth, do not ingest it, do not get it close to your mouth or close to your eyes. Make sure to use some mitts so you don't burn your fingers like I did. And have fun, experiment. We also added some essential oils here in it. So we added some lavender and frankincense.
Danielle first made this wonderful salve. She gave me a sample to try, and so I took it home. And at first I just used it for my cat bites me a lot, so I was using it on my cat bites, and it was clearing them up beautifully. And then I loved the feel of it so much, I started using it as a face cream, and for my chicken neck, you know, because I'm getting older and it's getting wrinklier. And then I also started using it on my arms to keep my skin firm. This, it just soaks into your body and heals whatever it needs to heal. It's like it knows what to heal. You know, you read these plants have these medicinal effects, and the beauty of it is making it and seeing, actually experiencing the healing from the medicine in the plant.
And how quickly it works.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Almost instantly.